Millions of children and high school students are learning from home due to the coronavirus pandemic, forcing many parents learn how to homeschool. But there are challenges as to how to ensure they get the proper education and tools they need once schools open back up. Here to talk about this more is the president of the American Federation for Children, John Schilling. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Stephanie.
How will these lockdowns impact the public's views of homeschooling?
Well, Stephanie, what this crisis has taught us so far is just how much we need greater flexibility and choice in our K-12 system. Before COVID-19, there were about 2.5 million kids who were being homeschooled at home, and that number was growing by about 5% annually. Because of COVID-19, we now have millions of parents and students who have had to become instant homeschoolers, and this has been made much more difficult because school districts have been very slow, often reluctant to ramp up online learning. And so I think homeschooling and other forms of school choice are going to become even more popular after this because of all these challenges.
The College Board and ACT announced plans for students to take the college entrance exams through a computer-based home option if schools don't reopen by the fall. But interestingly enough, some colleges, including the University of California system, announced they will cancel SAT and ACT requirements for 2021 applicants. Can we expect this to be the new norm going forward?
Well, I hope not. I don't think canceling tests for all students makes a lot of sense. We want students to be prepared for the next grade. We want students, if they choose college, to be prepared and successful. And what we don't want is a lot more students on 5- and 6-year plans, which drives up the cost for students and parents. But I do worry about those families who do not have access to computer technology to take these tests. And I think it's incumbent upon state and local officials to ensure that these folks do have that technology.
And we know officials on the local level, they've been trying to do their part in making sure that students get the laptops and technology they need in order to be doing their schoolwork at home. But there's still concern about ensuring children in low-income communities are able to get the same homeschool education from their parents as those in higher income communities. What needs to happen in order to bridge this gap?
Well, this is indeed a real challenge for our nation's lower income families, many of whom lack the necessary technology at home. According to the Pew Research Center, about 15% of U.S. households do not have a high-speed internet connection at home. That number is about 30% for lower income households, so it's a real challenge. What can be done? The Federal Communications Commission has a lot of authority under the Federal Telecommunications Act. They could provide hotspots to schools that could be loaned out to families who do not have internet connections. As you know, Congress recently passed the CARES Act, which includes $13 billion for K-12. Unfortunately, only a portion of those funds will be going to online learning, but governors did get $3 billion in discretionary funds, and we would like to see those funds prioritized for online learning for students, all students, including students in private schools.
And what is the Trump administration doing to address the crisis with public and private schools?
Well, Secretary DeVos has been talking about rethinking education and expanding options for parents for 3.5 years. The Department of Education is working very hard to get aid and guidance out to the states. I think if there's going to be additional aid, we would like to see any additional aid going directly to lower income families, including private school families, to purchase education technology, materials, even to line up summer courses, because we don't want kids to be behind. We want them to be prepared for the next grade. And just a quick note about private schools. Private schools are a really important part of K-12 education. There's about 30% of the kids in private schools today, about 1.7 million students, who are in lower income families. Many of these schools are in danger of closing. That would be an absolute tragedy for families and students, but just as importantly, it would be a financial disaster for school districts because they would have to spend billions of dollars that they don't have to reabsorb these kids. So we think this is something that both Congress and governors should take note of.
Absolutely, especially, well, summer is approaching and hopefully they will be able to take that up. John Schilling, again, the president of the American Federation for Children, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.